Welcome everybody to a brand new movie review where we talk about Skyscraper and the main event, The Rock versus a building. I guess this was bound to happen.
I think this is one of those projects he should just like, this is a weekend paycheck, you know. This I felt like it was a stupid movie when I first saw the trailer. I mean, we've seen too many movies that are similar to this.
Oh man, let's get into it. I mean, this is The Rock's version of Die Hard. This is his Die Hard. Okay,
you're really gonna say comparing this to Die Hard?
Well, look, I'm saying
Bruce
because
Willis would turn over in his grave. Oh wait, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
He's still doing decent action movies.
Bruce Willis is still alive. Look, this is his Die Hard. People have been. I mean, look. Okay, let me set it up here. The Rock is franchise Viagra. Okay, look, he
franchise
is.
Viagra.
He is. Okay, look, you wanna bring back Jumanji? Put The Rock in it. You want to?
I enjoyed Jumanji, the sequel.
Me too. You want to,
spin off the Fast and
Furious. You want to make it more popular? Put The Rock in it. You want to, do
the Rampage thing. And
well, no. I mean, what I was gonna say was like G.I. Joe. Put The Rock in it. But
don't get me started on that one.
But yes, he's franchise Viagra. But here's the problem though. A lot of his standalone films, ones like the Rampages and stuff like that, they don't do so hot a lot of times.
I'm sorry to say, before we even fully get into this film,
sure.
I thought the Rampage movie was better than this.
Ooh, we'll get into that. But I mean, how would you say the synopsis is for this film, sir, if you had to say it?
Basically, I forget what was he, FBI or whatever in this movie?
He was a former FBI, sort of almost like a SWAT guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, you get pretty much the gist of it in the trailer. You see he does he's trying to get this family out with this bomber that's in there, and, he gets injured in the act, and he meets his future wife, which, by the way, that was, like, the shortest opening. Like, oh, they met, boom.
Yeah, and then it cuts to 10 years later where he's now, like, owning...
He proposed after he got out of surgery? You weary me?
He's now working in security, and
he lost a leg.
He's lost a limb.
Half a leg.
Well, look, and he is hoping to win this contract bid for this, the tallest building in the world,
very expensive ass building in the world,
called the Pearl, and
$6.5 billion.
And
he's trying. Basically, his job is to help them get the insurance their insurance, look over the building, see if it can be secured for insurance.
And all that jazz, and have it be...
sorry for the insurance company that has to insure this one.
Holy shit. I guess
State Farm can't cover this. Or Geico.
Or Geico, either of them.
Hey, I wonder if Allstate gives them the first accident free program.
Oh, shit.
That'd probably bake up the entire company.
God. No, but look, I mean, the thing about it is that it's like, okay, he wins this bid, he's helping them out, and basically, in a nutshell, what happens is that these people, mercenaries, so to speak, are trying to destroy the building in the process, to destroy it. And
find out that the guy who built it, the CEO
or whoever it is,
he's got some top secret information that they're trying to
get, and the idea that the Rock's family, or the character of Will, I believe his name is Will. Yeah, his family is still in the building, and he has to go back into the building to try to rescue them.
I mean, I can give it this: the building was a unique design.
You know what? You're right. I got to admit, I was really fascinated by the building. I thought it was really well done.
It kind of reminded me like a more, how shall I say, remember when we saw Dread? You see those like giant building?
Yeah,
it seemed like a more high society version of that.
Okay, I would agree with you on that. I will say
the most unique thing about this, other than the top of the building, the pearl or whatever you want to call it, is how they power it.
Yes, they power by the wind turbines, I believe, right?
It was something like that, or electromagnetic thing, or whatever. All I can say is, if we had that kind of technology, I think we have that kind of technology now. I'm not 100% sure. We do. If we do, that would solve so much energy.
Oh my God,
right
it would.
There.
It's such an amazing and incredible building, and you know, it's interesting because
it's got a lot of state-of-the-art type shit too.
Yes, the state-of-the-art stuff is incredibly unique, and basically on how the mercenaries get in is very interesting. I thought that see the security measures.
I thought that was the big plot hole right there, how easily it could get hacked into.
This is true. It got hacked into pretty damn easily, to be honest with you. And at a certain point, you're like, geez, I guess the security ain't that all great in there.
Are we doing spoilers for this one?
We're going to try to stay away from spoilers.
This is a very non-spoiler.
Yeah.
In order to get into the building, Will's character gets because he's got to go over all the security measures, so they give him complete access and control over it.
Of this sort of almost like an iPad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it does get eventually taken from the bad guys. And like, why would you I know he's supposed to inspect the building all, but you think you'd have like a remote override thing, or give it to multiple people, like the main security or the guy who built it, so you have a backup in case it get hacked.
The problem is that this guy really doesn't trust a lot of people. And so it comes down to, like, you know, he's got to pick and choose, and he picks him, of course.
That's why they should have a main and secondary. Like, in order to override, you need this person, you need this person.
Yes, I do agree. As far as the action is concerned,
it was okay.
It was.
I've seen better. I've seen worse.
I've seen better, and I have seen worse. And you are right. I think the problem here is that a lot of the action stuff, especially with The Rock, there's moments where I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this guy is either incredibly lucky, or it's bullshit. Or it's just what you call bullshit. I mean,
it's like that first part where he's trying to get back in the building, you see him jump up a fucking crane. And I call bullshit.
It's in the trailer, so it's not like we're spoiling that.
I call bullshit. There's no way he should have made that jump, especially with amputated, even with a leg prosthetic.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell he could have run that fast to get across it. He must have been at least, how would you say, maybe 5 car lengths away?
Ooh, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know.
Even the best distance jumper couldn't possibly
do it. Not only that, but there's moments with other moments with his prosthetic leg and everything else.
And you see that part in the trailer where it's coming unhooked. Like, there's no way in hell he would have had enough time to react to catch it.
There's stuff like that where I'm just like, this is really I'm like, huh? Like, my head.
The Rock, he does all that magical shit.
And this is really where I think it comes in, because when I say this is The Rock's Die Hard in a lot of ways, the thing about The Rock's Die Hard is that it's not as good as Die Hard. You know, and that's the honest truth, because with Die Hard, look, you have John McClane. Yeah, it was some really oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this stuff, but
he's barely walking by the end of the film.
He's barely walking, whereas The Rock is pretty much strolling.
Gets a couple cuts and scrapes, and he walks by.
Again, a lot of it is very hard to believe that it can actually happen. And maybe that's part of these action movies. You sort of go in believing that, none of it can happen anyways.
At best, there's one scene where he gets stabbed, and then there's another scene. I think that's pretty much it for major injuries that he gets, other than the cut on the arm. I'm like, should have been like shot or something, because it would have made more believable.
Some kind of thing like that. It really, to me personally, a lot of the action was a little bit too hard to believe, especially if they want to be a little bit more realistic with it. It didn't quite work.
See, there's a couple more plot holes, and you just don't. It's like near the end, the main bad guys behind it. You never get any resolution for that.
You never get any resolution. Really, you kind of do with one bad guy, but as far as like other bad guys that are part of this whole setup thing, you don't really get any resolution with that. There's a few other plot holes. There's things that maybe they're holding back for a sequel if they get one.
God, not.
I don't know.
This movie didn't feel enjoyable enough to watch for a sequel.
I will say this much. I thought The Rock did a decent job as far as being the relatable action guy. I thought he did a good job in that. I felt that he was very relatable, whether it was with the prosthetic leg or with the relationship with the kids and the family.
Yeah, I believed all that shit, but it's just some other stuff that just felt bland. I'm like, for one thing, if you're gonna show them just, like him and Nev Campbell's character, the one that plays the wife, it's like, oh, he gets injured, they meet, like, could you give a little flashback or something, like.
I don't know if this was that type of movie to do it, but
it felt so fucking quick.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to play catch up a little bit. I will say this though, Nev Campbell though actually is really good in the movie. I do like Nev Campbell, and God, it's been so long since I've seen Nev Campbell in something.
And you get Pablo Schreiber, the half brother of Liev Schreiber. So, I mean, he's only in the movie maybe.
I would dare say probably like 15 minutes. Maybe
and even
20.
then, I was like, they could have fleshed his character out more.
They could have,
they barely used him in the movie.
But it was very, and again, I thought there were interesting relationships, interesting dynamics. Again, the problem is like this movie, you see, The Rock, he's a larger than life guy. And I like the relatable stuff, but I think when he's doing the quippy stuff in like the Fast and the Furious franchise, or when he's doing that, it works because you love seeing The Rock doing that. He's good in the movie, but do I think that it could have been, somebody else could have been in the role and it could have been just as good?
If
sure.
you're gonna put wrestlers in movies, why don't you just put John Cena in this fucking movie?
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I mean, shit. I mean, and the other thing about it is that The Rock now is becoming this generation's action star. But with movies like this, with movies like Rampage and everything, is he equaling a Schwarzenegger? Is he equaling a Stallone?
Well,
I mean, I don't...
Don't forget, all these guys have their prime, and they eventually slow down to the point where their movies just get kind of unwatchable. I mean, I can say one right now, Steven Seagal.
Oh, Steven Seagal, yeah.
His movies back in the day were awesome. Nowadays, it's like every time I see a Seagal movie, I can't even get through 5 minutes without laughing my ass off. It's just how horrible it is.
I just did my Out and About video, and there's a new release with him and Mike Tyson teaming up together, and I'm like thinking,
even Van Damme's gotten that bad.
Yeah, Jesus Christ!
I'm like,
I mean, good Lord, man, and it just to me, I think the Rock has done interesting stuff. And I think he works great in franchise material. I think
even when he does those kind of random movies he never thought he'd be in, he actually kind of pulls it off. I mean,
he pulls it off here. He does a good job in this movie. Again,
the plot was very weak.
The plot was weak, and the plot failed him. And I think that was the problem. It's not The Rock's fault that the movie's not as good as it could have been. I think The Rock does a great job with what he has. I think I like, and also this thing too. The great thing about Die Hard, and I will say this about Die Hard, is that you had a great character in Hans Gruber. You got to really know the bad guys. Here, the bad guys are very generic. You really don't...
One-dimensional.
One-dimensional. You really don't get to know them. You really don't get to know much of the motivations.
They didn't feel that menacing either.
And there's this one sort of Chinese chick in it who is a very badass chick, which I thought they would have done more with, and they didn't do more with her.
Yeah, I thought she would have been the main bad guy in this film. That would have been more believable.
Or something that would have been more just she would have been the bad guy's right-hand woman.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't end up being the case. And again, you just didn't get to know these characters and know the motivations, and
I mean, even when she's killing people left and right, and it's just I wonder how she's gonna go down at the end. And the way she does in this movie, it just pissed me off, kind of.
Yeah, because you're well, she's probably gonna
bite the dust.
Bite the dust, and it's I mean, I think again, as you said, the plot's weak, and that's the fault of it. That's the fault.
I mean, that, and I would have said, instead of the secret information that they're trying to find, it would have been something more sinister, oh, this guy is not who you think he is. He's actually a criminal mastermind, something like that.
Something a little bit more.
And you don't realize, oh, this skyscraper is more than it appears to be. This is actually a weapons platform or some kind of bullshit like that.
I mean, that would have been interesting. Again, this movie, it has a great action star in The Rock. It has interesting characters. Now Nev Campbell's really good in it, but again, it's the action which is not quite as good as you want.
I think the major areas that really kill it are the plot and the bad guys in this film.
The plot and the bad guys, and also, I'm not gonna lie, I wish this film was rated R, because I don't think it is, because the kills are very PG-13,
yeah,
very tame, and I wish it would have went a little bit more in the more intense realm of it, where you would have a Die Hard, and I think that would have made it even better. I would have loved to seen
somebody get their neck broken or their eyes gouged out or
something, and you just don't get it. It's very tame.
Honestly, I was like this throughout the entire movie. I was
yeah, I was sitting there well, it's not terrible, but it's not great.
You know, in movies, when the movie you think is bad, is when somebody's out there. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, we had some people in the movie theater.
They're all laughing. Maybe I had one or two good laughs in the movie, if that.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of one-liners for The Rock or anything. There was really nothing for
more of the other characters at best.
I mean, they were getting stuff, but The Rock was getting shortchanged. Yeah, it's just so. I mean, with this all being said, I mean, what is your final thoughts and grade rating on Skyscraper?
I think we covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I mean,
we did.
This movie was kind of like I said when we got out of the theater, it's this felt more like something you'd watch on Netflix, just one of those random movies that just got put out there to that.
Yeah, one of those ones where you're just clicking on Netflix being oh, The Rock is in this? Yeah. Oh, click,
But honestly, this movie didn't really do nothing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably have to say this is one of his more blander films.
Unfortunately, and I think you are right. I think Rampage was more exciting.
I mean, this was the one I thought was actually better than this is when he played a CIA agent. He had what's his name with him, Kevin Hart.
Oh, Central Intelligence. Yeah,
I thought that movie was better, and I hated that movie.
I think even a movie like Walking Tall that he did. I still
prefer that movie over
I still prefer that movie. So yeah, I mean
I'd have to give this one. I mean, if it wasn't for the plot and the bad guys, this would probably be almost a B-rated movie for me.
Wow, okay, but
right now it's a very low, on the borderline low, probably D plus, maybe C minus.
Wow. Well, look, you're not wrong, man. I think this movie has a lot of problems. The Rock is not one of them. Mm-hmm. He does a great job. He holds his own. Again, I think it was kind of a weak plot. I think the bad guys are weak sauce. I love the building, and I think the building is another great aspect of it.
That's probably the only thing that didn't give me go to a fucking F.
Sure, I mean, I think the building's cool, The Rock holds his own, but again, beyond that, I just feel like this movie,
almost like Snoresville.
A little bit of Snoresville. If you're gonna watch a movie that's like this, fuck it, watch Die Hard, man.
Yeah.
Watch Die Hard 2, watch Die Hard 3.
Hell, go Die Hard 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 15.
How many of them that they'll end up fucking making? But, I mean, for me, look, it is on the lower end of a rating. I'm going to give it a, probably on the lower end of a C-. It wasn't terrible, but I just felt kind of bored by it, and there's far better action movies out there to watch than this.
True.
There really is. Even Steven Seagal ones.
Maybe back in the day, not any of the shit he does now. Everything he does now is like almost D-F.
I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And me and the big man over here will be back for another movie review. Oh,
What's that, old timer?
Old timer.
Oh, you're almost gonna be another year older.
Oh, old. I am not old timer. And you know what? Speaking of which, I could probably be just as cool of an action hero as The Rock.
If this was an action movie, you'd be dead within the first 5 minutes. You can't even jump off a jungle gym, let alone a fucking skyscraper.
Look, I can hold my own with maybe, like Chuck E. Cheese type of, like, action, but beyond that...
How about Chucky himself?
Screw that. Alright, guys, apparently I'm not a good action hero compared to this nincompoop. Alright.
Last longer than him.
Take care, guys.